I am still obsessed with juicing. No, this isn't enjoyable. Like, who's actually pretending they like this? Lots of little picky bits is my idea of a great kind of lunch. I spend quite a lot of time stressing about what would be on my death row meal list for someone that has no intention of ever ending up on death row. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, we are doing a what I eat in a day video today for two reasons. The first one being is that I personally just love watching these videos. I love seeing what other people are eating and their food shops actually. I know that sounds really nosy, but I don't think there's anything more interesting than like, what are you having for dinner and what did you buy in your food shop this week? I don't know what it is, but I just find that so interesting. So that's the first reason. The second reason is a whole two of you asked me to film this, and to be honest, that was enough to get me to do that. So I love filming these, so I hope the two of you that wanted to see this video, I really enjoy this. Can I just apologise for the fact that I am so pale today? Honestly, I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, and I think we might need to back it up so that we're not too close today because I am so pale. I scrubbed all my tan off last night because I feel like I haven't got much of a natural tan at the moment, and in the UK at the moment, we are experiencing one hell of a heat wave and it is lovely. I am not about to complain for 1 second about the warmth we're experiencing. I'm spending quite a bit of time outside today, so I've kind of got like a really strappy top on and I'll take my shirt off because I think like I've just got to embrace being pale for a couple of days to get a natural tan. Wow, that was a tangent. We're filming a what I eat in a day, not how I catch a natural tan. Right, shall I start by showing you my breakfast because I am starving. It's 10 to 10 and this is about normal breakfast time for me because I've been up for sort of four and a half hours at this point, and I like to get a few bits of work done and out of the way and then have my breakfast a bit later. So my breakfast hasn't changed in a long time. So if you've watched one of these videos before, this is exactly the same breakfast, but I'm not going to show you me making it, I'm just going to show you it and then we'll move on to other more exciting things. So this is my breakfast. I have got chopped up strawberries, a seed mix. I probably should have checked what was in this seed mix. I think it's pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, flax seed, and there's one other, and I can't remember. But anyway, that's what I've got in there. And under there, if you can see it, I have got one of those Oikos strawberry yogurts. So anyway, that is my breakfast. I've been having this breakfast for months and months and months now. I like to give it a good mix up, and then it doesn't look quite as appealing, but it does taste so good. And I actually just left the Tupperware out because it had one strawberry in it left. And I just wanted to show you the size of the strawberries at the moment. How impressive is that? That is huge. I don't know what I can show you to like give you some context, but just know that strawberry is huge. I feel like I've got seeds in my teeth now. I probably should have filmed this next bit before I started eating my breakfast, but here we go. I was hungry. I couldn't wait anymore. As if anyone thought I was about to film a what I eat in a day and not include my juicer, I am still obsessed with juicing. I got my juicer back in February, so 4 months ago, and I know what I'm like. I thought it might have been a fad that I would kind of do for a few weeks and then get bored of it, but I am still totally obsessed. I've got a little juicing recipe book that one of my friends bought me for my birthday, so I can try out lots of different recipes, and today I'm going to be doing a green juice. So let me spin you around. I'll show you what I've got to go in my juice because it's all sort of soaking at the moment. When I say soaking, I've just got it in my sink with some cold water just to wash off any nasty little pesticides and things like that. But let me show you what I'm about to chuck in my green juice for today. So this is what I have got out for today's green juice, and I do like to really vary up what I use for my juices just so I can get as many different fruits and veggies in as possible. The main thing to note is that most of the juicing recipes you'll find will either have apples or pears as a base because they're quite a sweet fruit, so it's great for like a green juice can be a bit bitter sometimes, but also they're quite juicy, which I know sounds silly, but in a juice that's really important because, for instance, I like to use kale and spinach and things because they've got such a high nutritional value, but they're not particularly like juicy. Obviously, any leafy greens are so good for you, so if you can get these incorporated into your juices, that is amazing. They do also recommend that you use celery quite a bit, but I'm really not keen on the taste of celery. I'm not a particularly fussy eater at all, but celery is kind of where I draw the line. But anyway, everything I've got in here is to make 3 juices. Connor isn't here today, he's away. So I'm just gonna make myself a juice for today, but he is back tomorrow. So I'm making 2 for us to have tomorrow, and I store them in sort of glass containers because it just saves me doing washing up every single day. So I try and sort of batch it for maybe 2 days or so. But anyway, this will all do 3 juices. So I've got a section of cucumber per juice, 2 apples per juice, a third of this little bit of ginger per juice, a lime per juice, and then a good old handful of kale per juice. Now this is the juicer that I use. I really recommend this one. It's not a brand that I had heard of, but I will leave it linked down below in the description box, because as someone that was very new to juicing when I got this, it's quite small for a juicer, which is great if you have limited storage like me. It's also really straightforward to use, which is what I needed. But more importantly, it is so inexpensive. So if you just want to get one to see if you're actually gonna enjoy it, then highly recommend this. As I say, I'll leave it linked down below. So I've just sliced my cucumber, apples and limes in half just to make them a bit easier to get through the juicer. And I also just have to make sure I pop a little tea towel over my microwave, because it's very tidy, don't get me wrong, but the juice comes out of here and you just get a couple of splashes on, well, I get a couple of splashes on the microwave because it's so close. I mean, it doesn't cover it at all, it's not messy, but you know what I mean? It just kind of makes a bit of a mess, so I just cover it. Basically, if anyone hasn't seen a juicer before, then you pop your fruit and veg in the top here and press it down and it comes out in a nice little juice out here. I'll pop you on a time lapse because it's a bit loud, but yeah, let's make a little green juice. And of course, it goes without saying that the juice tastes so much nicer when you put it in a nice little glass. I also just like to stick a couple of ice cubes in there just to make sure it's super fresh, because the fruit has been in, it's cold water, but it's not like fridge cold, if you know what I mean. I just stick a couple of ice cubes in there. Let's taste this one. Oh, so tangy, that's exactly how I like it. Knowing what's in here just makes it even tastier, but genuinely, I can sometimes taste juices, you know, when you buy them from like the shop and you're like, no, this isn't enjoyable, like who's actually pretending they like this? This is nice. Mine's quite tangy because I really like it to be really limey or lemony, whichever kind of citrus fruit I'm using. I think this recipe actually says to use half a lime and I use a whole one per juice, but that's just because we personally really like it quite tangy in this house. So fresh. Right, what I'm gonna do is just make up the next 2 batches of juices for tomorrow and pop them in a glass storage jar so that I can get this all washed up and I haven't got to get it out for another couple of days. Something else that I probably should have mentioned is I drink a lot of water throughout the day. I have the literal fear of getting a headache. I get headaches really badly. It doesn't take me much to get a good old headache. So if I can try and stay really dehydrated, sorry, put some ice in my glass, my cup, sorry. If I can try and stay dehydrated, then it might help eliminate the risk of any headaches. So these are big. I reckon on a day like this where it's quite warm, I probably might get through about 4 of these, plus a couple of herbal teas and a couple of normal teas. And before you ask, yes, I do spend my entire day weeing, but hydration. So now that I am all fed, juiced, watered and ready for the day, I'm actually just gonna go and meet my friend for a quick walk before it gets too hot. This is the friend that had the baby only a couple of weeks ago. Her husband has recently just finished paternity leave and gone back to work, so she's on her own in the days. So I'm literally just gonna pop over for an hour or so and we can just go round the block with her baby in the pram just so she can get out, and yeah, just so she's seen some people today as well, which will be nice, before it gets too warm. Then I'll be back to do some work and I will see you at lunchtime. Okay, so lunchtime. I am a very picky lunch eater. And when I say picky, I don't mean like fussy. I mean like lots of little picky bits is my idea of a great kind of lunch. What time is it? Just gone 12:30. So I do like to have my lunch quite early. What I have got going on is I'm just frying off 2 eggs. I don't know about anyone else. I'm not keen on a yolk. Like, I'm fine with a yolk, but I prefer it to be sort of exploded and they've kind of all merged into one. I'm just going to let those fry off. I'll flip them over as well just to make sure they're properly cooked, and then I will show you what sort of picky plate I've got going on. Okay, I know this is random. I know all these foods don't really go together, but for me, I love a random picky lunch, and I've just covered the food groups I need to cover. So I have got a little bit of quiche because I just had some in the fridge, so I thought that would do. Got 2 eggs here, bit of protein. I've got some peppers here, bit of veg. That's some tara masalata dip. And it's all about balance. I have a big fat white chocolate cookie. Like, don't get me wrong, I do really like healthy eating. And I think it's probably quite important to mention that although this will, apart from the cookie I've just shown you, this will look like a relatively healthy eating day. This is a Wednesday. I try and eat healthy sort of maybe Monday to Thursday. And that's not to say that I deliberately don't eat healthy Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm definitely more mindful of my food choices at the beginning of the week because I'm working from home and because I'm just around more and there's naturally less socialising going on those 4 days. I feel like I can just sort of control what I eat a little bit more. But that's not to say that I eat like this every day, so please don't be under any illusion. Gets to a Friday night, like I'm gonna have a couple of glasses of wine, I'm not afraid of a bit of a snack at the weekend and eating basically whatever goes. So please be under no illusion that yes, this is a relatively low calorie day, a relatively healthy day, apart from the whacking great cookie I've just shown you. But this isn't me every day of the week. So if you're not eating like this every single day of the week, basically please don't beat yourself up because we're all human. We all have cravings, I promise. It is gym time, and this is the first time this year I've actually gone to the gym wearing shorts, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I'm just a leggings girl in the gym through and through. I just feel more confident that way. But there's no way I can even get leggings on today, bear in mind work out in them. So we're on to the shorts. What time is it? 3:30, so it's 3 hours after I had my lunch, and I'm actually just about to have a little protein yogurt, what are we calling it? Oh, protein strawberry drink. This is actually from Lidl. My friend April was telling me about, am I showing you everything? Yeah. Was telling me about their protein yogurts they've got in there. And I went in there and I saw they had these little like protein shake drinks as well. Sorry, we felt very far away. So yeah, I just thought I'd give this a go. But yeah, 35 grams of protein, that's amazing. But I always need a little pre-drink snack. I need a little something, you know? Oh, that's nice. That tastes like, is it called Yup? Yup? Those strawberry drinks that used to be around when we were kids. I don't know if they even sell them anymore, but that's what it tastes like. It actually doesn't taste like protein. And you know sometimes when you have something that's like quite proteiny, and it sort of feels a bit grainy, this doesn't at all. So, oh, I like that. What else is in this? I feel like I didn't really read the, oh Jesus, it is 218 calories a bottle, which I suppose isn't too bad. Just realised I'm sat in front of the picture frame that says my baby's first years, if you guys can see that. No, I haven't had a child and not told you all. Basically, when I bought this frame, you probably spotted it, but it's basically one of those you can put loads of little Polaroids in it. The one without baby's first years was literally like £100 more expensive. So I got this one and I was like, oh, I'll buy a plaque to go over that and then no one will ever know. But obviously I've never done that. So now this is still my baby's first years frame. And I feel like I need to explain that in case anyone thinks they've missed out on some massive milestone that doesn't exist. Whilst I was working this afternoon, I was thinking about what would be on my death row meal if I had to choose one. And do you know what? I actually don't think I could come to a conclusion. And then I thought, do you know what? Actually, I spend quite a lot of time stressing about what would be on my death row meal list for someone that has no intention of ever ending up on death row. Like, it's not just like I think about it. I actually get a bit stressed about it. I'm like, what would I have? Because I feel like it's one of those questions that crops up every couple of years. People are like, what's on your death row meal list? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. And it shouldn't be that stressful. I don't ever intend in ever putting myself in that situation where I'm gonna have to pick my final meal. All I know is that it definitely would be a pasta dish for main. I feel like I love a carbonara, I love a macaroni cheese, but is that a bit boring for a final meal? Probably. And the only other thing I know is that it won't be a chocolate-based dessert. Now, I love chocolate in literal chocolate form, but I don't love chocolate in a base dessert. Anyway, that's as far as I got with telling you that because I couldn't think of anything else that I would want. Hopefully, I'm never gonna have to make that decision. Anyway, I'm actually now running late for the gym, so I'm just gonna finish off this protein shake, put my trainers on, and then I'll catch you guys after I've been to the gym. So it's time to prep dinner. And just before I start that, another apology for my appearance. I feel like that's all I've been doing this vlog. But basically, I've been to the gym, then I went and saw another friend for a walk, so I've come back and had a shower, and you know, like I just wanted to put on like an old creased t-shirt and some comfy shorts and put no makeup on. But I remembered I still got to film this, so I'm very sorry, but I'm not going to put any makeup on for you guys. Right, dinner tonight is beef tacos, but instead of a taco shell, we are using lettuce, and I'm going to do some wedges to go with it. So I've just sliced up some potatoes. If you guys haven't got one of these, this is so good, one of these little olive oil spray bottles for when you're making things like this. Because you can literally just spritz the oil, and it obviously just like covers everything so much better. I'm then just going to put a little bit of salt on the wedges, and I've also just got some peri-peri salt and seasoning here, which I'll just sprinkle over the wedges as well, just to give it a little bit of something, not too much. We don't do spice around here. Well, I don't do spice. And then I'm just going to give them all a shake through, and that is literally all you need to do. And then I will pop those in the oven, which is just heating up at the moment for probably about 25 minutes. I've cut them quite thick actually. I probably should have cut them a bit thinner. And then whilst that is in the oven doing its thing, we can crack on with making the filling. for the tacos, which I just have to pre-warn you, is so simple. The filling is, honestly, I couldn't have made it any more simple if I could try after making this so many times. We love an easy dinner around here. Yes, I like a slice of potatoes, but that is literally as complicated as it gets. And this is how they are looking. So they are gonna go into the oven. Oh, it's not quite reached temperature. I'll pop those in a couple of minutes and we'll see those in about 25 minutes. So we've got 9 minutes until the wedges are ready. So I've just started to fry off some of the chopped onions. I'll give those another couple of minutes to soften, and then I will add in just a spoonful and a half probably of the chopped garlic. If you're anything like me and just find it a lot of hassle peeling garlic and then obviously putting it through the garlic crusher, 1 teaspoon of this is equivalent to 1 clove of garlic, so I'll probably do 1.5 teaspoons of that in there before adding in the rest of the ingredients. And then over here, I've just washed our lettuce leaves, which we're going to use as like our little tacos, and I'm just leaving those in the colander to kind of dry for a little bit longer. So I've just been browning off the mince. In here is literally just the mince, the onion, the garlic, some Worcester sauce and some seasoning, so it's super sort of basic. The like liquid you can see there is just the meat juices, which are just frying off. And all I'm actually going to add into it is a can of mixed taco beans in tomato sauce, and because it's in the sauce, it means you haven't got to worry about any other sauce or anything. So I'm going to add that in, give it all a good mix. I'll leave it to sort of simmer for the next 5 minutes and then we'll be ready to serve. It is seriously that simple. So admittedly, I know it doesn't look great, but this is Connor's with the cucumber to add into his wrap, and I have gone for tomatoes, which I actually just need to slice in half. Just wanted to show you how we eat it before we sit down for dinner. So with a lettuce leaf, you literally would put, well, I've chopped the tomatoes up, I can't shape this at the moment, let me grab a spoon. So I would put my chopped tomatoes in, and then a couple of spoonfuls of the beef bean sort of taco mix, and whoops, that is your little wrap. It's just keeping out the carbs really. I know I've got potatoes there, but we do have this with taco shells, but if I'm just trying to keep the calories down, then yeah, that is our dinner for this evening. Thank the Lord that it is Connor's night to do the washing up. To be honest, there's actually not too much here, but there's a little bit piled up in the sink, so that is a job for him whenever he fancies doing that. And I am going to grab myself a lolly. I don't know if I fancy a Calippo. Oh, actually I have a Fab. I think anything like me, I need to have something sweet after having my dinner. Even if I'm quite full, so I don't need anything like filling necessarily, but a Fab is literally such a great option. So that is what I'm going to do. I think that is everything I'm going to eat today. I think that's going to be the lot. I will have a herbal tea at about 9 o'clock before I head up to start getting ready for bed. I say herbal tea, it's like a chamomile and lavender tea, I think it is. It's like a sleep tea. I don't think it actually does anything for your sleep. It just makes you feel better knowing that I've had it. So I'll have that about 9 o'clock, and that is it. As I say, please don't think that I eat like this every day. Yes, I know I've had a cookie and I know I have eaten sort of like some things that are not uber healthy, but overall it hasn't been a particularly unhealthy day. Yes, I know I'm about to have a Fab, but I'm all about everything in moderation, you know. I mentioned it earlier in this video, so I won't go over it again, but eating the right things when you can just means that you can go wild, well for me, when I want to, and that's basically it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye!